Oh, yeah. How are you, folks? Welcome to the show on a shitty Monday. As I used to say on the Sirius show, every day is a fucking Monday. How you doing, all right? Good weekend? Yeah? Good. 888-599-NICK. 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425 is the phone number. That's right. We take calls. Very rare on a podcast. But we have that technology, and we use it. Found a couple nice Indian kids that lived near me that hooked it up nice. Say hi to the Twinks. Twinks, how are you?
Hello there.
Yeah, how to bring that energy. What's that, a cancer fucking ward in there? I come downstairs, the Twinks got here, and one of them dropped whatever. Let's just say it would have killed the 10,000 Kurds. Whatever came out of one of their asses. I don't know. There's not much ventilation in here. Ventilation! We have a soundproof curtain. The door is shut. And it doesn't breathe. Got the air conditioner. You know, the ones that you stick in, the hose goes outside. Works beautifully. I suggest you all get one if you're living in poverty like myself. Hey, good to be with you. Shout-outs. Well, these are big enough. The fonts are 66. I think I can read this without my glasses. Shout-outs. And you said, well, who gets shout-outs? Well, people who join the Michael level, which is the top tier 3 level on Patreon. And people are like, I couldn't afford that. Well, it's not personal. It's only business. It's only business, honey. But big shout-outs go to the Unwritable Rant, Andrew Vogel, Zach Ross, Jimmy DiLorenzo, Nicholas Simone, Chris Thone, and Joshua Smith. Thank you guys for stepping up to the Michael Corleone level, and seriously, we appreciate it very much. That allows you to get a free hat or a t-shirt, 20% off merchandise. You get a shout-out on the show. Your name is on a show, okay? 15,000, 20,000 people on YouTube will hear it, so you're semi-famous, and if something goes bad in your neighborhood, the FBI will be knocking on your door. But thank you guys so much. How was your weekend? I went up to Boston to see my dad. My dad is in the, I would say, the late stages of Alzheimer's, and what a cruel disease, man. I heard about it all the time, joked about it, still do, and will continue to. But, man, what a cruel goddamn disease. And if you like my sense of humor, you would have loved my dad, because that's where I got it. I'm not talking the racial angle or whatever. Just a guy who could riff naturally. He could fucking riff. I used to watch him. We would have cookouts, and 8 of his friends would be around him. He'd just be riffing off the top of his head and have them wiping their eyes. So, it is a cruel disease, man. You know what it's like to go to hug your dad? He puts his hand out like you're an insurance salesman at his house, and it's fucking brutal. But that's where and I'm going to be PC here. That's where I realize how strong women are. My mother, my sisters, who happen to still live in the vicinity. Well, of course, my mother does. But unbelievable. They can handle anything. I can't. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how my mom does it. It has to be long goddamn days. But my old man is still, even as, and I would say late stages at this point. We're watching the Red Sox game, and he doesn't really know anymore what he's watching. But this is how slow baseball is. We're watching the Sox game. The pitcher is on the mound holding the ball. My father goes, for Christ's sake, throw it. He had one moment of clarity. That's how fucking boring people find baseball. He goes, for Christ's sake, throw it. I almost fell off the couch laughing. I'm like, he's not completely gone. And God bless him. One funny motherfucker. Big Nick, they called him. Where did he get that nickname? Well, my sister was dating a kid, and I think I told us in the old podcast, in high school, this kid, Brian, he had hair down to his ass, kind of a punk, weed smoking, whatever the fuck. We're at a football game. I remember this. I was a kid. And he gave my father the finger in the stands of the football game. My old man chased him. He gave my father the finger and then ran out of the stadium. The kid runs out of the stadium. My dad chases him. All the people in the stands, instead of facing the field, now are facing the other way, looking. There was a big field behind the stadium. My dad is chasing this kid. He caught him, too, by his hair. I think he slapped him in the face. If he did that today, he'd still be in a prison. But Jesus Christ, Big Nick, tough as nails. Thing about this is he's physically still healthy, which is not a blessing at this point. I don't want to see him, I don't want to see him live this out forever and ever because it only gets worse. But typical Gindaloon, fucking healthy as a horse. And he had me laughing, man, yelling at the fucking TV set. And rightfully so, because I'm thinking the same thing. Jesus Christ, will this guy throw a pitch already? So say a prayer for the old man, Big Nick. He did a couple other things during high school with my sister's boyfriends. He was not playing around. He's a little protective. That's the Italian/Marine in him. Another time, I'm down the park watching a ball game at like 7 p.m., and I think one of my sisters was with her boyfriend on a swing set. My father pulls up. She was supposed to be home. Pulls up in a pickup truck like a redneck. Starts yelling at my sister. Of course, I'm fucking belly laughing. And boy, did that reputation spread. Don't want to piss off Big Nick. Excuse me. But his dad lived till he was 93. And his mother was like, I think, 81 or 82. And on my mother's side, my mother's mother at 93. So, I don't know what Ancestry.com says, but... And if you're a bit of an asshole, you live forever. That's how that works. That's what I was told. So, is that right, Ryan? Ryan just... I go, if you're part of an ass... He points at me. Ryan just points at me. You know what, Ryan? There goes your dental. Please come to Boston for the springtime. And I want to thank the Waze app on the way up there. It was pretty good. It's 205 miles. I did the first 180 in about 180 minutes. And then you get up by 128 in Boston, and it's bumper to bump. It doesn't matter what time of day. It kicked me off the fucking highway, sent me through an old neighborhood I used to live in. I went by an apartment building in Woburn on Washington Street that I used to live in. It was a nice complex. Now it's Section 19 housing. I almost started crying. It was so goddamn depressing. Are there any parts of the country that have been touched by fucking poverty and crime? Yes, Marblehead, Massachusetts. 888-599-6425. 888-599-6425 is the phone number. Tour dates real quick. Tonight I'll be at the Fat Black. New joke night. I got nothing. I'm going to go up there and wing it. That'll be fun. I'll be bombing. But this Wednesday night, the Fat Black Pussycat, and Saturday night, the Fat Black Pussycat here in New York City, right around the corner from the Comedy Cellar. They call it the Lounge. And then Friday, September 14 and 15, Arlington Draft House in Arlington, Virginia. Friday, September 21, Orpheum Theater, Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm doing a corporate gig the night before. That's right, me doing a corporate gig, which is very unusual because they like it PC and very, very fucking faggy. But I was told these guys are like capitalists. They own a national furniture company. They said he can do whatever he wants. I will bring in the heat. I've heard that before. And then they're like, we didn't know you were going to say that. Well, fucking blow me, is my response. You know what I'm saying, Ryan? Jason and Ryan, two of the whitest kids I have ever met, folks. Perfect for the show. I wanted a heavy-set black chick that could... Go ahead, Ryan.
Man, no, I got nothing to say. You just said we're the whitest kids you know. I just wanted people to see us.
Okay, then get off the fucking mic. I like how Jason's wearing the shirt of a lesbian. You should be in a Subaru with a fucking mullet heading up to fucking Burlington to meet your girlfriend. That was a gay joke. What? Let's get to it. By the way, I'm looking into, somebody online suggested the bifocal contact lenses, which is, I already spent 40 minutes in the bathroom getting ready. Now I got to play with contact lenses, but I am looking into them. Or LASIK, or just throwing battery acid in my face, because these fucking things will age you. Look at this. Who wants pussy? Apparently not that guy in his late hundreds. I can read the headlines because the font is fucking humongous. Texas Lawn Company gets death threats for slogan promoting legal workers. Let me repeat that. Texas Lawn Company gets death threats for promoting legal with an L workers. That's where the left is. They are threatening people. death threats for people who are hiring and following the laws legally. So that's why you're going to get smoked in in November, the midterms, and then you're going to get smoked in 2020 because you've lost your collective minds. You're betting on a whole bunch of Hispanics and brown and black people, and guess what? You ain't going to get them. You've lost them. The fucking hardworking people who cut your grass and stuff don't like your shit. But you keep running with Bernie, the Democratic Socialist, and what's her name? Alexandria Ocasio fucking Chintal Chili Peppers. The girl who unseated a guy, Joe Crowley. She's a Democratic Socialist. She's like a 28-year-old Hispanic woman. Is that who we're looking to for leadership? Good luck, Pelosi, you leather-nipple fucking whore, you, and Chuck Schumer. Even they're afraid of her. They're like, look, okay, we're a little radical, but we just use words. You're actually putting it into action. So we shall see. But, getting death threats. And to the people who are giving them death threats, we say this.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
That's plain English. A Carrollton, Texas business owner is reportedly receiving death threats after business cards surfaced that promote a legal operated lawn care service. At least one person expressed concern about a, in quotes, your alternative to illegal lawn service slogan. Mowmasters owner Jeff Hinkle said he never passed out the cards that are now stirring controversy in the North Texas community. He did not appear to know how the sample, was supposed to be a sample business card from 3 years ago, got into the public's eye. Oh, gee, I wonder how. That's how sensitive we are. The controversial cards bear the slogan, your alternative to illegal lawn services. The card also proclaims, taking back your Carrollton one lawn at a time, which is sort of a play on Trump. And the guy's hiring immigrants that you guys are so fucking in love with, and you're threatening his life because he's excluded illegal immigrants. I hired a guy from he's from Nigeria or wherever to cut my lawn. We have footage of him, don't we, fellas? You got to be, folks, you got to be ready with this shit. You got to be, there he is. I hire this guy, and he does a nice job. I forget his name, by the way. Anytime, fellas. No. You got to cut it before Chappelle comes on. I got to teach you how to edit. But that's the guy I hired. Can we see that again, please? Let's try that. Can you cue that up again? I don't know if it's a problem. But this guy does a hell of a job. 10, 9. My neighbors love when this guy cuts my lawn. And he's legal. Came over here on an inner tube or a picnic basket or some shit. And does a nice job. But that's where we are. On the left, the controversial cards bearing the slogan, your alternative to legal song services, he's taken some flack, and there was a local guy who was upset with it. Local CBS affiliate spoke with a guy named Fonzie Guzman, who appeared to be offended by the card promoting a legally run business. He says, I was upset at first, but once I broke it down, I thought, I feel bad for this guy. Now, why, First of all, I feel bad for you, Fonzie. What's your real name, you chicken shit? This is the problem with social media. Why do you feel? Because you're morally superior to him? That's what he means. I'll guarantee it. Why do you feel bad for him? That's what makes the country run, small businesses. So don't feel bad for him. He's promoting legal immigrants. But I feel bad for him because he's probably a bigot and a racist. And I'm telling you, that's his spirit. In addition to the slogans, the card says that Hinkle's Mowmasters.com, by the way, go to Mowmasters.com, lawn service uses high business standards. It says he follows tax law and has the best credentials, ethics, ratings, and reviews. He claims his employees are crime and drug-free. Wait a minute now. I cut my own grass sometimes when I can't get my Nigerian friend, and I'm not fucking drug-free. I have to have 6, 7 beers before I get down on my sit-down mower. My wife looks out the window, and this is no bullshit. I started my lawnmower this year. I didn't clear the old gas out from last year. So I had blue smoke pouring out of the back. So I was trying to do like skywriting, trying to write I love you. And, you know, this is all fucking true. But I'm not drug-free when I'm cutting the lawn. I have to be numbed to do that tedious horse shit that only somebody from Mexico with a 4th grade education would do. What? But I have to be fucked up. I used to do a joke about my old man because he was always outside. I said, my old man really loves yard work. And then I got married and I found myself out. And he doesn't love yard work. He hated my mother. Clear as a bell. Anyway, can you imagine? They're threatening this guy for doing the right thing, for following the goddamn law. Oh, my God, you've lost your tits, lefties. Hi, how are you? It's a nice pro cam. We have to get something that it's hanging from. It looks like somebody's prosthetic leg. I know there's something that's, right? When you go to Best Buy and get something, fellas, maybe one of your tube socks. He's taking shit for that. It's just fabulous to me. Hinkle told the reporter that he has received death threats and is concerned about his family's safety since publicity over the cards came out. Can you imagine his family's getting death threats because he says he uses legals with an L? Again, Pelosi and company, they always conflate. They always say Trump is he's anti-immigrant. They always conflate illegal and legals, the exact same fucking thing. And it's because they're dishonest and she has leathery nipples. He said that someone must have found out the old sample card, which was never meant to be handed out. Don't be ashamed of it. There's nothing wrong on it. Why not hand it out? As for the offended party, that would be Fonzie Guzman, said he appreciates the change. Who gives a fuck what you appreciate? Who makes you the moral authority on anything, Fonzie Guzman? I don't wish bad upon him, but at the same time, be careful how you promote your business. And I say to him, Fonzie, or what? What if I'm not careful? Or what? You cheese-eating fuckstain. I hope his business grows, but doing it in the right way. So you're the authority on what is right and wrong as far as hiring people. Where do you people come from, huh? Where do they make you? You sanctimonious fucking cum guzzler. Not shaming other people's businesses or their background, Mr. Guzman concluded. I say you get back on your whatever. May you have a house fire tonight while you're cooking. Whatever. I'm holding a pee right now. I should get up. This is where a commercial would come in handy. I had coffee, a Diet Coke, and my sleep problems are back, folks. I took a lorazepam, half a one. Knocked me out nicely, but then I have the fucking energy of a cancer patient the next day. So then I kick it up with coffee, and then I have a glass of rum. And so I'm all mixed up. But it makes for a good show, doesn't it? 888-599-NICK. I'm not talking about Judge Kavanaugh, Tyler, and Missouri. And let's go to AKM in Texas, who is on point. We're talking about Mo Masters. AK, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
Good. How you doing? Your thoughts on the subject? Yes, you're on.
Good. Yeah. So in Texas, I've seen a lot of other places do this exactly what this Mo Masters kind of. I mean, not so blatantly as saying no illegal immigrants or whatever, but by saying American-owned, American-manufactured, American workers. That's a lot. That happens a lot, and I live in Austin.
Very liberal. Very
so
liberal.
I see a lot of that down here, and but I think it's a good thing. And I would have claimed that I used to be actually more democratic, but now they really have gone way too far left. You know?
Yes, I do know, and I'm glad you're finally smelling the roses. And he doesn't even say no illegals. I mean, he's inferring it by saying he hires legals. And you know who appreciates that, AKM? I'll tell you who appreciates that. Latinos or any immigrants who did it legally, waited in line and did it legally. They're not fucking cutting the line because the people that sneak in hurt them the most because they're bidding for the same jobs. So, but yes, you live in the Austin
definitely.
area.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of that here. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of that. I mean, because there's a lot of hardworking Mexican-American immigrants that have done it right, that are here and are doing it, like they're supposed to. You know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean. And for this guy to get death threats, that's literally, so you're trying to keep a guy from making a living because of his political beliefs, and I've said this 1,000 times on the show. That is the definition of fascism. And maybe eventually that's where this country's headed, but not right now. Not right fucking now. And like I said, there's a lot of Latinos that are here legally that get furious, and the Republicans should play up to them. They could do a better job at that. But you have, unemployment at record lows in Hispanic communities, black communities, and record lows in female. I mean, Jesus, give me a break. So this guy like Fonzie Guzman, I mean, who do they think they fucking are, is my question, to judge this guy.
I don't know. It's ridiculous, and it's getting out of hand. I mean, it's getting worse on the left side. They're losing people.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they keep doing. Hey, thank you for the call, AKM. I appreciate it, buddy. Talk to you soon. 888-599-6425 is the phone number, and for the love of Pete, and we do need immigrants, and not just for this, not for this type of stuff. A lot of automation coming into play, but we need the best and the brightest. And I'm with Trump, and he says you have to vet these people. But to be getting death threats and worrying about your family because you said something like this, your mother's tits. Let's go to Nathan. Wants to talk about Mo Masters. I wonder if it's the Nathan. If it is, we have to jack up his volume because if it's him, I don't know. There can't be another Nathan calling the Nick DiPaolo show. Maybe. Nathan, how are you?
Yes, good evening, sir. How are you, Mr. DiPaolo? Good.
Muy bien.
Very well, yes. Hello.
Go ahead.
Muy bien, yes. Okay. Very good. Well, I've dated a few Latin women, so I appreciate that. I don't do good with the women of my. Let's just say, Nick, I do better with the women who are a little more ethnic. The Caucasian women don't really like me too much.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Nathan?
Are you speaking? Well, I'm not exactly sure. I may historically in my life I have not been on the cool side, if you will. And I think some of the maybe the African American women that I've dated and the Latin women appreciate a more nebbish character that I've been called.
That makes you cool, though. That makes you cool if you're a white guy dating. If you notice, Nathan, in all the commercials now, not all, but every other one of them, it's a mixed race couple. Almost every other commercial, they're trying to ease it in, which is fine. I'm just saying, but they're so sneaky about it. There's a lot of commercials where you're looking at the woman and going, I don't know, is she white or is she Arab? And they've been easing it in over the years, but now I'm finally seeing clearly black, clearly white, which is fine. But you don't have to fucking treat us with kid gloves. We can handle it, right, Nathan?
Well, yeah, we can handle it. I mean, I believe that they're appealing to a broader demographic, and the climate of the world we're in now, we have a lot more mixed couples. But Nick, have you ever dated any African American women in your day?
I did. It cost me $50. It was an hour and a half. That's a true story. When I first moved to New York City, she looked like a Whitney Houston in her teens, as beautiful as they come, and she left my apartment with her headphones on, crying. That's all I remember. And it was
Well, did you say something inappropriate?
No, she felt bad about what she had done, and I can't blame her. I mean, she slept with a young Joey Buttafuoco, and I can see why she should be depressed.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm glad you had that experience. It's been most enjoyable for me. May May I digress and take a little umbrage with some of the things you speak about?
If it's about Mo Masters,
Oh, I was going to speak about the immigrant issue with the babies being yanked from their parents' arms. And
I wasn't
to these,
talking about.
apparently internment camps.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about a guy's life is being threatened because he hires legal immigrants. So I can see why you'd want to avoid that. With
Okay,
your
well, no, I'm not avoiding it. Listen, if you drive by any house that's being worked on, I guarantee, okay, I live in the suburbs, I guarantee that there are illegal immigrants working on those houses. And I believe that there is a place. Now, I don't think they should come into the country illegally, but the fact is that they're here. Now, this man should not have his life threatened because he's hiring legal immigrants. But unfortunately, illegal immigrants are weaved, and I believe we should, nobody should be threatened either way because the work is getting done, Nick.
The work is getting done, but you have to give me this much, that those illegals are taking jobs away from legal immigrants, so I don't have a mind with them being deported and having to leave and get back in line. No?
Well, have you ever seen immigrants or these Latin gentlemen sweating all day out in the hot sun doing the landscaping and whatnot? Do you think the average kid or American, I don't think that they would do those jobs, to be perfectly frank with you. A majority, I should say. I'm not saying all. I'm not sweeping with a broad brush, Nick.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they would be doing those jobs.
Well, as I look at the Twinks, you might have
I
a
really
point.
don't.
Well, here's why I disagree. Those are the jobs I was doing in high school, and how do you know? I mean, if you can hire somebody for $4 an hour, obviously, you know, an illegal immigrant or whatever for you know, they're undercutting what you'd have to pay as somebody from this country, a white kid, like you said. So, I mean, I don't know. I think these kids living in their parents' basements, you know, millennials, I think they'd do the jobs. I think they would. I don't know. You might have a valid point.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of jobs in my mall that are being filled by different nationalities, and I'm sure they're on the books, as they say. But I appreciate you, Mr. DiPaolo, and I feel this discourse between you and I is nice and
Civil.
What is the word I'm looking for?
Civil.
It's civil. It's civil.
It is.
You are not being the usual right-wing running back that I'm used to.
All right, Nathan. Hey, good hearing from you, and keep calling and say hi to those hot Latino chicks. I know you're under the escalator.
Thank you.
You're under the escalator at the mall with your camera, but good hearing from you. Take care, buddy. All right. Who hasn't done that, right, fella? 888-599-NICK is the phone number. My back teeth are floating. Like I said, I had coffee and all kinds of liquids. And let's move on, shall we? But you get my point, right? I feel for the legal with L immigrants who doing it the right way. By the way, my grandparents. This is why I'm a fan of the Latinos, because I always compare them to Italians at the turn of the century. My grandparents and you know, they did the shit job. My grandmother cleaned college dormitory rooms. My grandfather laid railroad track for 8 cents a week, and they didn't have all these entitlement programs and to suck off the government's tit. They had to work their balls off. But anyways, what do we got here? We have a Toronto. I don't know if it's Terra or not. I know the English. With glowing hearts we see thee rise. The true north strong and free. This is Roger Doucette singing. Google him. Lord, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Well, anyways, Toronto, we're talking specifically. Another attack. You remember back in April, some guy in a truck mowed down like 10 people. I think he killed 10 people back in April. Am I right, guys? I'm making that shit up. I thought But there was a shooting up there this weekend. Some guy just dressed in all black, walking down the sidewalk with a handgun, just started shooting into cafes, fucking randomly. And 10-year-old girl, 18-year-old woman killed, and the shooter was killed. Every article I've read and every story, they found him dead in an alley. And then they don't know whether the cops killed him or he killed himself. That even before I came on the air. How do you fucking not know that? What does that tell you? Right? My radar goes up right there. Okay? The victims range in age 10 to 59. 13 other people. Now it's up to 17 people seriously injured. I know 3 of them were saved in hospitals by surgery. So, this is again, and it remained unclear if the gunman identified only, keyword only, as a 29-year-old killed himself or died after being shot by police. So let me get this straight. You have the body. They're not giving out a description. You know, if it was Whitey, they would have said a white male, Same with Vegas. Do you know how little we know about the motive of that Vegas shooter? So, once again, this is creepy. It's politically correct, in my opinion. That's what I believed a third into the article. And at the end of the article, when I quote the mayor, you see I was fucking dead on. He was in the city's Greektown neighborhood when he opened fire on Danforth Avenue. He shot between 15 and 20 rounds during his spree, hospitalizing at least 9. It's way more than that now. Local reporters have been sharing cell phone video footage showing the exact moment he opened fire. And, which is just hard. Toronto's a great city. It's real. It's very PC. It is. It's very liberal. It's like, do you know it has more Italians? You know what city settled more Italians in North America than any other city? Toronto. I did a gig up there in an Italian neighborhood. I'll never forget it. It's a beautiful city. And shortly after the shooting, Police Chief Mark Saunders said it was not random and he did not rule out terrorism as a motive. But why can't you tell us? You have to know the guy by now, right? You can't tell us his race and religion. Sure you can. Well, Nick, why is that so important? Because it is. The guy that used the truck back in April had a fucked up Middle Eastern name. Authorities received a call shortly after 10 p.m. Witnesses reported the suspect walking down the street, firing at restaurants and cafes, and it triggered a small stampede of people, which you can friggin' understand. But here's where I start to fucking lose it a little bit. Here's the mayor, quote from the mayor. What the hell's his name? I believe it's John Tory. Yeah, John Tory. Of course, he says, and I quote, "Guns are too readily available to too many people." Then he says, in quotes, "It's almost inconceivable that these things can happen," said Mayor John Tory. "We were so used to living in a city where these things didn't happen, and as we saw them going on in the world around us, we thought they couldn't happen here." And then he says, in quotes, "Why does anyone in this city need to have a gun at all?"
Who said that?
John Tory.
Who the fuck said that?
John Tory.
Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant?
Why does anyone in the city need to have a gun at all? And let me answer that for you, Mayor. I don't know, in case somebody comes walking down the street dressed in black and starts randomly firing into cafes and restaurants in your town. Maybe that would be a good time for somebody to have a gun. Anybody? How do you stop the guy? Who stopped him? I'm guessing the cops. We can't even confirm that. But that would be a good reason. And this notion that if you outlaw guns, that, nobody's going to have them. You don't think this scumbag is going to get a hold? There's always going to be a black market, and that's why they're called outlaws. We've had this argument 1,000 fucking times. But that's why, sir. That's why somebody would need a gun. Thank God the cops showed up, whoever, or he put himself to death. Again, you're so PC and so slow with the information. You can bet if he was from fucking Idaho, it would have been all over the... You know, is it me, kids? Twinks, your thoughts? Come on, one of yous. You must have an opinion. Jason?
I was just on the phone. I missed it.
Sorry, you're doing your job.
Yeah, he's doing his job. He missed everything.
All right, well, Jason, Ryan, what's your excuse? You're listening to the show.
What's my excuse?
Do you agree, or do you think... Are you for gun control?
I think better, mental health checks. But besides that, I don't really see a reason to not let people have guns, except in cities that are really condensed, where you might more often find, because everyone gets a gun, everyone's gonna start shooting themselves in a high crime area, right? If it's a little bit harder.
Okay, you can get off now because I can hear Jason talk. Well, every city is a condensed area, and those people that are killing each other, you could have, Chicago, Illinois, tightest gun control laws in the country, same with D.C., most shootings. So I'd like to, agree with your point, but I agree with the mental, there's too much privacy. We can't look into their mental health and shit, but the point being...
I'm very happy with people having a rifle in their house and stuff like that, like a shotgun or whatever.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help you
Or
if
in
you were
their
in
store.
If you're in that cafe right now,
Cafe owner.
should have the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this John, the mayor of fucking Tory, would agree with you. He thinks too many guns is the problem. Cheese dick. I'm talking to him, not you. All right, thank you, Ryan. He grew up in Yonkers. He knows guns. Yonkers used to be nice. Now, there's parts of it to make Detroit look whatever. Let's go to Allie in Charlotte. Allie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh my gosh. Hi, Nick.
Holy shit, I think I've tapped into a middle school.
Good.
Let me ask you, what does paste taste like?
I'm 29, so that's close.
Oh my God, you're 29 and you talk like that? How fucking... Guys in bed must just get hard listening to you. It's like a Barbie doll. Anyways, 29? I picture you sitting in a kiddie pool right now.
No, I wish. That would be nice.
So give me your thoughts on the shooting in Toronto.
Well, what's annoying is, they say more guns is the problem, but common sense says if people are more likely to carry stuff to protect themselves, I would find that people would less likely carry out a crime. Like if you're going somewhere and people are going to be having more carried concealed licenses and probably packing heat, I don't think a person would ever dare to try and, do a mass shooting knowing that someone could whip out a gun and, shoot them right back in a second.
That may or may not
make sense to me. Taking away.
Well, yeah. Well, statistics, again, the states with the tightest gun control. Why can I hear myself a little bit? With the tightest gun control, they have the most shootings, like Chicago. And
that's actually right. Yeah, the people with most concealed carry licenses I read in the country are the safest places, or also cities in the country.
Yes, you're not going to get mouthy. Somebody takes your seat in a movie theater or whatever, or somebody gets loud in a bar. Yeah, I think Texas is the way you can carry everywhere. You see people with gun racks on their strollers down there, and they tend to behave themselves. And but it's true. You're gonna be less apt to fucking shoot up a place if why do you think they're trying to arm teachers and putting guards at schools and stuff? I mean.
I agree with that 100% as a parent.
Yeah.
I want my kids protected. You can't wait on the police to show up, which could take, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have the police that could possibly be scared, like they had that problem before where the police didn't even go in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to arm people and teach them, make our kids safe. Like, anyone can take a weapon, or any object can make it a weapon.
That's exactly.
But,
that's exactly
we're not
right.
taking away cars. We're not going to take away a fork.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
stupidity to
we're
me.
getting there though. I mean, knives and but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Thank you for the call, Allie. I appreciate it. I had this discussion on my Sirius radio show right after the Parkland shooting, and some guy was arguing with me that it's crazy to give teacher's gun. So I said, your kid's in that room, somebody busts in with a gun, you'd rather have nobody in there with a gun. And then he couldn't answer that. I said, answer the question. You'd rather have the teacher armed or not armed? You're never going to get rid of all the guns, okay? That is just fucking silly. And even if you did, the bad guys would still get their hands on them. That's the way the world works. But my problem with the story is we don't get any information on this suspect up in Toronto. They're very slow. Do you remember years ago when something would happen, you'd know immediately. But they're very slow. And why are they slow? They don't want, in case, and I'm not saying it's a Muslim, but they don't want backlash against a certain community. And Obama was classic at, slow walking information after tragedy. That's the first thing he'd come out. We don't want a backlash here against the Muslim community. We fucking know that. But we have a right to know. You've had the body now for 48 hours. Let some information out. That Vegas thing, we're going to find out shit down the road. I really believe that's going to creep us out because they're keeping that so tight and so sealed that it's...
I got the name now, Nick.
You got the name of the guy?
And the clip, yeah.
Kevin James.
Yeah. Faisal Hussein, 29 years old.
Faisal Hussein. Is that true? Is that right?
Right here, buddy.
That's a good update, guys. Nice going. Faisal Hussein.
I know what you get. You're a damn credit. All right, just...
You'd think if his name was Tom Jackson or Johnny Jones, you'd think we'd have known it yesterday? I do. Oh, call me paranoid. Faisal Hussein? I can't even make that up. He's one of the Hussein brothers. But I'm just saying, these are the things you should take note of when you're watching the news, and they've had the body for a couple days now. And same thing with day-to-day crime in New York City. They don't fucking release the... He had a green jacket on, a yellow T-shirt, red sneakers, but they don't mention the guy's race. They can tell you he had a light mustache and an earring, and it's really frustrating. Let's go to Chris in Stoneham. Wants to talk about Toronto. Chris, what's up, buddy?
Hey, so I'm as much of a right-wing bigot as you are.
I'm not a bigot. I'm not a bigot.
Toronto...
I'm not a bigot.
Well, I am. Oh.
Go ahead, Chris.
In regards to the truck attack.
Yeah.
In regards to the truck attack in Toronto, that
Yeah.
kid wasn't a Muslim or anything. He's what was called an incel, which is an involuntary celibate. And it basically just meant he was pissed off because he couldn't get laid. So his goal was to kill as many good-looking guys and women as he could.
Well, yeah, that's what the media told you. But yeah, yeah, no, you know what? You're right though, Chris.
All right.
That you know what, Chris? But you make a good point. A lot of this, and people say this jokingly, but a lot of this, you know how much fucking anger in the Middle East, and there's always people blowing each other up. A lot of that is from suppressed sexual feelings and shit. If you're seen with a girl who shows her ankle,
No, you're right.
So there is some validity to what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyways, assalamu alaikum. Love the show.
All right, Chris. I love my Massachusetts people. Motherfuckers, it's crazy out there. Let's go to Ben in Houston. I brought up Houston and how right on their licenses I knew a girl that lived there. It said not to give people the finger or some shit right on their driver's license. There was so many road rage incidents. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, you got to be careful around these parts when you're driving. You can't be cutting people off and throwing the finger.
Well, you can't do that in New York City either.
You hear me?
Yes, you can't do that in New York City either. But the point being is in Houston, you have all kinds of you conceal and carry laws and shit. So it makes it very dangerous if you want to give somebody the bird.
You can legally carry a weapon in your car in Texas without having a concealed carry permit. You can just carry a weapon around.
Do you think that's a deterrent? I do.
I think so, man. I think so. You know
You mentioned earlier that these high crime rate places like Philly and D.C. Have these real strict gun controls and real high crime rate. There's a common denominator about the people who live in those places. Canadians.
Yes, there's a lot of Canadians and Polish. Those people get very. They don't.
That's what they call them down south.
I
Canadians.
know. I know what you're driving at. But like I said, I knew a girl that lived in Houston, and right on her license, it was right on the. It said that you're not supposed to get. Literally, it said something about the middle finger. I couldn't believe it. This was in the 70s. So yes, I would not fucking. I would not. I'd be quick. I wouldn't be quick to lean on my horn. Let's say I'm in traffic in Houston. Thanks for the call, Ben. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's move on, shall we? 888-599-6425. And this is from a couple days ago. James Gunn, he directed those Guardians of the Galaxy movies that you fucking nerds who didn't like baseball or pussy when you were kids enjoy so much. And he got in a lot of doo-doo. He got canned by Disney. He's been removed as director of the Guardians of the Galaxy series after a batch of old social media dispatches were unearthed. That's another way of saying old tweets that touched on areas like pedophilia and rape. So
you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Thank
You're
God.
Fired.
Gunn was.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
They say in the latest shocking #MeToo development in the entertainment industry, Gunn was severed from the Marvel Comics universe after a slew of social media posts he wrote before getting Guardians of the Galaxy surfaced. According to Fox News, they were posted because Gunn is an outspoken critic of President Trump, and the effort was to knock him down a few pegs. Mission accomplished. Gunn has long been a provocateur who has drawn ire in the past for his unusual humor. Among the tweets that forced Disney and Marvel's hand were, this is one of his tweets, "I like when little boys touch me in my silly place."
Counselor! Remember? I know what you get. You're a damn
Counselor! He's a fag.
I don't see the joke there. A joke usually has a setup and a punchline, and the fact that he directs these movies, I have 9 angles on this story, but here's another tweet. The best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped, it's like, whew, this feels great not being raped. Oh, this guy's fucking hilarious. There were others that made satirical comments about the 9/11 attack, AIDS, and the Holocaust. So he goes for the lighthearted shit. I think, in seeing that this is Disney, I believe, the Holocaust shit, Disney is the Holocaust shit and the rape jokes. The pedophilia shit, everybody knows Hollywood's filled with that stuff. But he got canned for these old things. Yet another tweet described a monkey masturbating on a young child in his commentary that it made him, in quotes, extremely happy. I didn't make that up. A monkey masturbating on a...
He's a fag.
No, I'm not saying that. Disney responded quickly and decisively. The offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James' Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our studio's values, and we have severed our business relationship with him, said Alan Horn, Walt Disney Studios chairman. Yeah, but let me ask you, Mr. Horn, where were you when he was tweeting this shit 4 or 5 years ago or 6 years ago when he was making your company billions of dollars? You're going to tell me you weren't aware of that shit back then? This is what Disney does. By the way, Disney is the biggest arbiter and promoter of political correctness around the fucking globe. Just watch some of your kids' cartoons. I get friends who have young kids. They show me these cartoons. They're so PC, they make you want to shit blood. And you're going to tell me you weren't aware of this stuff back in the day when he was making you money? I find that hard to believe. And there's nothing funny about it. A joke has to have a setup, a punchline. There has to be a hook there. There's nothing. But here's part of the article where you see a little bit of... We found these tweets below in a report by Fox News, and perhaps it is not a coincidence that it came from that outlet. Fox News got its ammo from the Daily Caller. One American News Network correspondent, Jack Posobiec, and right-wing commentator Mike Cervinich. And apparently these conservative outlets pounced on old social media after Gunn mocked conservative pundit Ben Shapiro as he defended liberal actor Mark Duplass. So Shapiro was taking a ton of shit from the left. And this guy came to his aid. Gunn did. And that's the last thing you can do in Hollywood. But this is what he's tweeted out in the last few days. And again, and here's my take, okay? They're just fucking words. I get fired for a tweet at Sirius, ostensibly. But we've given words so much meaning and power. But this shit isn't even funny. But in my world, in a perfect world, you could say any of this shit. Okay? But that's not the world we're living in. And the hashtag Me Too movement. It's, in other words, another case of libs eating libs. The guy's a comic book nut. And makes movies for fucking basically nerds who run the world. And even he's getting shit canned by Disney. So, how he thought he was going to get away with that. But they're trying to pass it off like it's a witch hunt by Fox News and right wing. How does it feel? How does it feel? We just talked about Josh Hader, that All-Star pitcher, who said some racist, misogynist shit when he was 17 years old. Tweets. Now he has to go to, sensitivity training. MLB sending him to, and all kinds of. And you know what? The other night, I guess he got a standing ovation, which tells you most people have had enough of this PC horse shit. This kid, and again, I mean, you either believe in free speech or you fucking don't. I'd fire him for being unfunny, but but he hit on Holocaust stuff, and there's a lot of Jewish people working at Disney or in showbiz, and don't fucking got a whole bit about that. I used to have a great joke about that. I used to say about my friends who go, Nick, why do you think show business is run by Jewish people? And I said, you ever read the credits after a sitcom? It's like Schindler's List. It's a fucking killer joke because it's true, it's hilarious, and they friggin' used it on Will and Grace like a year late, not even a year later. I know a girl who's a comedian from Boston who was out in L.A., and I'm not saying she took it or whatever, but she was one of the writers over there. And it surfaced on Will and Grace like a year later. I almost shit it's one of the best jokes they ever wrote. And people might find it offensive, and to that I say,
Fuck you! Fuck you!
But then he tries to defend himself. This is another tweet from him, July 20th. It's not to say I'm better, but I am very, very different than I was a few years ago. Today I tried to root my work in love and connection and less in anger. People have told me to try that. Fuck that. My days of saying something just because it's shocking and trying to get a reaction are over. So, and that, but why did you keep going to the pedophile thing? Little kids touching me in my silly place and a monkey masturbating. There's a pattern there, I'm no fucking CSI, Vice, CBS, whatever the fuck. But in today's world, hashtag me. Okay. Then he says, for the record, when I made those shocking jokes, I wasn't living them out. Well, that's for you to say. I know this is a weird statement to make and seems obvious, but still, here I am saying it. And then another tweet. These are all July 20th, by the way. Anyway, that's the completely honest truth. I used to make a lot of offensive jokes. Again, they weren't jokes, in my opinion. I don't anymore. I don't blame my past self for this, but I like myself more and feel like a more full human being and created today. Sure, I loved a good dick in a Cub Scout's ass joke, but I'm just throwing that in. Love to you all. But I get advice for you, Paolo.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
So his defense is, they were just jokes. But I guarantee you, Mr. Gunn would never say that when somebody on the right made a racist who was fired for some misogynist horse shit. I guarantee you can look on his records, he never defended Imus or anybody like that, who actually did it in joke form and was saying it in the moment, as opposed to sitting down and tweeting it out. But again, in my world, it should all fucking go. And then you look into his background and find shit. How you get pictures of him on a stepladder looking into a middle school with a trench coat and a bag of Twinkies. Then you have probable cause. But let's go to Steve. Steve in Long Island. Stevie boy, how are you?
Nick, what's going on?
Oh, Stevie.
I wanted to ask you
Oh yeah, only I know. By the way, big fan. I've seen your show like 4 times when you come around to Governors.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the John Schnatter, the owner of the Papa John's guy.
Yeah, but we're
apparently
we're not talking about that right now.
What's up?
We're not talking about.
Yeah,
that.
I know, but it's kind of in relation.
Okay,
to us
there you go.
saying,
Connect the
racial
two.
Stuff.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Well, he was busted by talking about that, saying the N-word on a
conference call,
on a recording, right, or a conference call.
Yes.
Conference call.
Yes.
So how could anyone prove that? Didn't they just buy someone's word? Like they have to take someone's word for that if they go to the press? I don't get it.
Well, what you're saying is if it's not recorded, which I don't know if that call was recorded or not, he was dealing with a PR firm at the time, and I'm guessing there probably is. I'm guessing, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing there probably is a recording of that conference call since it was business related. But what you're saying is you're sort of implying it's like the OJ thing. That changed everything because we didn't have OJ. We didn't have OJ on film killing Nicole. That was the sort of the new take now. So you're saying they had to take somebody's word for it. There were people on that call who were offended and they complained. So I don't think it was made out of whole cloth. But he wasn't. The point there, Stevie, he wasn't, damn well he wasn't saying, well, if Colonel Sanders could call his employees niggers, I want to. Damn well he wasn't saying that in 2018 as the CEO of a successful pizza chain. So, but that's the world we live in. So,
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. Is that your point?
No, I was just saying, like, at what point? No, I was also saying at what point would the N-word come up during a conference call?
Well, did you read the whole article?
And when is it relevant?
Well, I'll tell you. Did you?
No, I haven't. I thought.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what it was. They were talking about there was a PR firm helping him out or whatever, and he said supposedly, allegedly, that Colonel Sanders used to call his employees niggers, and there was never any blowback. But I'm sure he wasn't saying I should be able to do that. He was pointing out to a time where how politically incorrect people were. And then he also said in that call about how racists used to drag black people behind cars till they died, making a point how disgusted he was of people like that. But of course, that gets taken out of context. We're at a point now, Steve, with if you're white, you can't talk about black people, racism, slavery in any context. You can't even go near it, even if you're saying something positive. That's the world we live in right now. It's literally, they think you're appropriating when you're just talking about them, regardless of the context. So that was the context that he got fired in, and I find it hard to believe that he was being overtly racist. Although he was from Indiana, and that's the home of the Klan. But I make a joke there. Thanks for the call, appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, that is.
Thank you, Steve. So but this thing about you got to have a recording of it. Or, we didn't see OJ on film killing, so that's, we had enough evidence otherwise, him checking in at Delta covered in blood, little shit like that, little details. But my point being is, James Gunn, he was making them almost $1 billion with these movies, and he was tweeting back then, don't tell me the guys at Disney weren't aware of that shit. So they used them, and sayonara. I hate the fucking comic Marvel shit. Let's go see the Green Hornet. Let's not. I'm not a 14-year-old boy. Let's go see Batman. Batman Returns. Give me another one.
I love the Green Hornet.
I know you. You look like you do.
Ant-Man, Superman.
Ant-Man?
There's a guy named Ant-Man, yeah.
Ant-Man.
The Flash.
Now, Ant-Man was about, a kid named Anthony? From Long Island?
He can shrink.
Oh, he can shrink.
But maintain the strength of a human being. I guess he can, crawl up your nose and start fucking punching you.
Yeah, see, I can't suspend my disbelief. That's why I can't suspend my... I liked Superman and Batman when I was a kid on TV, but then I grew out of it. As soon as I got my first pube, which is about 9. And I can't suspend my disbelief. And I can't watch female superheroes beating the shit out of criminals. But there's a lot of money in that. As Sonny once said, there's a lot of money in that white powder pop. There's a lot of money in those Marvel comics, you know? But this guy is, he's gone. And there's nothing we can do about it. He's gone. Let's do one more, shall we? Let's go to, fellas, let's focus. They're in there right now playing rock, paper, scissors. I don't know what the fuck that, fucking nerds to the bone. GOP lawmaker Jason Spencer strips down, screams N-word on Sacha Baron Cohen's Who is America. So once again, he tricked some dummy, and I'm not defending this GOP. He lost his primary anyway, so I think he's out of politics. But once again, another GOPer, and that's Sacha Baron Cohen's favorite target. Let's be honest. Even in Borat, remember he got on the bus with a bunch of white fraternity kids, and it's always proving white racism. And then that same movie, he runs to a bunch of young black kids at night, and there was nothing provocative going on. I love how he goes after these GOP morons. Why don't you venture into fucking the Black Caucus? Or why don't you venture into downtown Detroit or Atlanta and see if you can find some racism there? That would be anti-white racism. But he doesn't really do. Oh, he went after Ted Koppel, who was fucking relevant, 20 years ago? So, I mean, it's fake edge. Borat made me laugh my ass off. I'm not saying this guy's not a brilliant satirist, but I like to see him be a little more even-handed. But this jerk-off that he went after, I mean, I'm almost happy that he did it. Jason Spencer, a Republican state rep from Georgia, revealed that Sacha Baron Cohen had tricked him into shouting provocative language during what he thought was a real anti-terrorism training video. The shouting of racial slurs by Spencer, who was recently defeated, who would have guessed, in a GOP primary after serving 4 controversial terms, so he was on the edge anyway, was just one of several unnerving moments from the most outrageous segment in the second episode of Showtime's Who is America. And he posed as Sacha Baron Cohen posed as an Israeli terrorist expert, Colonel Aaron Marad. Baron Cohen enlists Spencer, who claims to be a victim of death threats, for a training video on how elected officials can protect themselves from terrorists. The training involves a parade of Islamic, homophobic, and racist techniques that Spencer takes in stride. This shouldn't be all that surprising for anyone familiar with Spencer's record, which has included threats against a black female Democrat colleague and a proposal. He said something about, I forget what she said, but it was about tearing down those Confederate statues, and he said she might disappear sometime. That's what she said. He said about the female Democrat colleague. And a proposal to ban Muslims from wearing veils, and yet still the things that Spencer does and says with Cohen are truly shocking. So let's play this. We got a couple clips here of this dope.
In America, there is one forbidden word. It is the N-word. Now, I am going to be the terrorist. You have 3 seconds to attract attention. Go! Nigger! 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 Are you crazy? The N-word is noonie, not this word. This word is disgusting.
Oh, it sounded like the luxury boxes when Marge shot on the Philadelphia Phillies. She was an old racist lady who referred to some of her players as millionaire niggers and whatever, and they loved her, by the way. That fucking guy, that guy is not Sacha Baron Cohen. Just a fucking moron. First of all, how do you fall for that makeup? It looks like he's made of wax. He looks like Kenny Rogers after the Botox. He just fucking face doesn't move, and he was tricked into saying the N-word. But that's what you're voting for down in this district in Georgia. This guy had 4 terms. Just a shithead. And then the next thing, he wanted to about veils and stuff. And when people are dressed in all black, you can't tell if they're terrorists or not. So Sacha Baron Cohen said, pretend you're a Chinese tourist, and we'll use one of those mirrors like you're going to take a selfie with a selfie stick, and you can look under the. Here it is.
Him or her that you are Chinese. Go.
Konnichiwa, Red Dragon, Beijing, Hong Kong, I see I'm in Hong Kong, sushi, I see the Red Dragon, do you speak Chinese? Ho Chi Minh City? Oh, no. Thank you. Red Dragon chopstick,
retard alert.
Sushi.
Retard alert. He kept mentioning sushi, which is Japanese, but look at this fucking guy. And I call him like I see him, folks. Don't get mad at me. How the fuck did this guy get elected to dog catcher with his black T-shirt? And it's a nice look if it was 1981. And just a fucking moron. But I want to see Sacha Baron Cohen take his fucking show into Maxine Waters' district or up at the Tenderloin in fucking San Francisco and do the same thing. Go to inner cities and see if you can't get a city councilman to say cracker or white fuck. You don't even have to coax them. They actually do it now because there's no repercussions. But this guy is a fucking retard. And I'm glad he was exposed. But I want to see some balance on this show. That's all I'm fucking asking. God, Jesus. Let's, I guess that's it. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go into the city. We'll take one more call. Somebody wants to talk about James Gunn. Alex in Dallas. It's a little off topic, but we'll end with this one because I got a scram. Alex, welcome to the show. Real quickly, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, basically, I was just going to say about James Gunn. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty strict with my principles, and I mean, I probably don't agree politically with James Gunn, but I don't want him to, lose his job or anything for a few, poorly written jokes or whatever it is. But I really could care less if he does lose his job because those fucking comic book movies are such shit. I'm sick to death of it. That being the only thing that's coming out now.
Yeah, well, you and I.
All. I mean, I'll tell you one thing.
Good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page.
Say,
Look, there's a lot of money in that, okay? The fucking world, I don't know if you know it, the world right now is being run by fucking nerds, okay? And especially show business. All the kids that, look, even in comedy, all the people that, a lot of my co-comedian friends who are all fucking picked on and whatever. That's what the arts, those are the people that are attracted to the arts. And that this is their field. And Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein, he was a fucking nerd, never got pussy before he became a billionaire. And doesn't know how to handle it, obviously. But that's, as far as Hollywood goes, that's who's running the show. And in the tech industry, you think those kids that are 25-year-old billionaires, you think they liked Goodfellas and Cuckoo's Nest and The Godfather? No. So that's who's running the fuck. I'm with you on that. But I'm also with you that it's just fucking words. And I think we're giving words too much power.
Absolutely. Before I go, the last thing I'll say is if they did try to pull this shit with Scorsese, I would fucking burn whoever's place's house down. They're not taking him off of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Tarantino remember, he was getting pushed back for saying the fucking N-word. And even that's what pisses me off. Yeah, well, and nobody had a problem with it until, again, each year the political correctness is getting worse and fucking worse. Tarantino, I mean, come on. And so now the libs are starting to eat the libs. And like I said, it's to the point where white guys, whether you're a director or whether you own a pizza company, don't even talk about, and if you talk about them in a positive way, like Bill Maher with the N-word. Bill Maher has done more for the left and for black people's politics and liberals. And, they want to fucking eviscerate him. So I'm enjoying it as somebody who is right of center, watching them beat each other up. They created this shitty environment. So now they're, it's a boomerang. It came back and got them. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Alex. Talk to you soon, buddy. But that's a whole nother different show about there's a ton of money in these Nerd Fest movies. And that's all. In Hollywood, the bottom line is the fucking bottom line. Anyways, but James Gunn, the shit wasn't funny, but again, mine was at least funny. My tweet, that's controversial tweet that Sirius said they canned me for. But, it was in joke form at least. Speaking of joke forms, I have to run now. Take a 10-minute piss and then jump in the car and head into the city. New joke night. Fellas, that is about it. What am I forgetting? I don't know. Fat Black Pussycat, Wednesday night. I'm doing a full hour, or 45 to an hour, and Saturday night, too. That's this Saturday coming. And go to nickdip.com. This is the free show, by the way, on YouTube. Free show Monday, premium show Tuesday, free show Wednesday, premium Thursday. And depending on what package you guys selected, you could get 3 or all 4. So it's a really good deal. And people are still signing up like crazy. I couldn't be happier. No more selling Coke to school children. That is it. I love you guys. And remember, you think it, I'll say it. You're fucking welcome. Here's my friend Lee.
I love you for helping me to construct of my life, not a tavern, but a temple. I love you because you have done so much to make me happy. You have done it without a word, without a touch, without a sign.
Without a sign.
You have done it by just being yourself. Perhaps after all,
talking to you, Twinks,
that is what love means. And that is why